Man, you hold on.
Peace and Black Power family, what's happening?
Salute, Sauce.
See, you got that motherfucking light in the background and shit. Y'all know the Telescope channel? Neighborhood Show, you know the Telescope channel?
The Telescope channel, shout out to you, man. Hit that like button, y'all niggas get to class.
Don't listen to the Telescope channel. He's a fool. Let him die by himself.
Subscribe to the Telescope channel. You got a lot of if you like to get into intellectual shit as well, he got a lot of dope content. You know what I mean? Check his channel out. He opened he asks a lot of deeper questions, a lot of, how you call it? He opens discussions. Like, he make that type of content.
I'm opening it up. Beautiful little flowers. Sweet. And the originals. Peacock feathers. That's cool.
I think those are pheasant.
Pheasant?
Look how cool.
Looking good. I love it. Thank you, my brother.
Hey, what's going on, family? Peace and blessings to the tribe. Like, share, and subscribe. You are now watching the Telescope channel. Remember, they said it, now we speaking on it. So, getting straight into this video right here, man. As you can see, I had to put my brother Craig in some of this, this Kemet Origins drip. It was only necessary after this spontaneous interview that I'm about to play with you guys right now. Like, it literally happened out of nowhere, and I was like, you know what? We always have good conversations and have like really in-depth conversations. And I do, the journalism podcasting thing. Why not just go ahead and just get some content right now as we speak? And that's why I'm a little bit all over the place, word vomit here and there, because I'm so ecstatic that we actually had the opportunity to make this happen, because we've been talking about it for maybe months and it just never happened. But spontaneously enough, it happened right when it should have, and we got to talking about some good things. So hopefully, possibly if this does good, man, we could probably get a part 2 from him. But and with no further ado, man, let's get into this content. Oh yeah, if you guys want to purchase any merch or get anything that you've seen the Doc had on, go to KemetOrigins.com. I repeat, that's KemetOrigins.com. KemetOrigins.com. You can find anything from shirts, pants, bath mats, dog clothes, everything, man. We got it all. Salute, man. Let's get into this content. Telescope.
Idea, and then it took its advancement by people who advanced it. And some of the people who advanced it hid some things in some, just the Book of Mary is now they found. It exists. They found it in Egypt. They found some. But the original people who put together the New Testament
didn't put that.
They didn't want a woman. And they said, we don't want that. We want this to be based on men, not girls. Mm-hmm. Constantine puts together the Holy Roman Empire at the end, and he decides that religion in Rome will be under Christianity, which was growing throughout his empire.
Right. Versus Judaism.
With Judaism was not a growth factor. You could be, but there was no growth in it because it wasn't. In order to be Jewish or convert to Judaism, you would have to go to the priests, and they're supposed to deny you 7 times. So 7 times you say you want to be Jewish,
and you get denied.
No. They're telling you they're not looking for converts. Right, we don't want you. But in Christianity, what did they say? All you have to do is believe in the word of Jesus as the Lord and Savior.
And there's a word like that. That's not the God that we serve. I'm saying it just sounds too easy. Like, it just sounds too easy, right?
That doesn't sound like how the
It's
universal.
a business. They took
Yeah,
it-
business,
it's
right?
A business. It's a business.
Exactly.
You know, look, ancient Judaism was a business that believed in animal sacrificing to God. And that the only way you could get it was to go to the priest at the temple, and there was only one temple. You didn't have temples on every corner in Jerusalem. And that the holidays were built around going there and asking for forgiveness and going there and making festival. So it was a very, very complex but very, very integrated one. You know, then once they destroyed it and sent everybody on their own way throughout the world, religion in the Jewish sense changed. And it became, rather than from the priest, it became the words of it, and that was the rabbi or the teacher who was teaching. Right, so it developed itself. Christianity, remember, when it started, it wasn't liked by the Romans. The Romans were feeding Christians to the lions.
With Daniel, right?
But then they said, then all of a sudden they saw that there were more following of it because, again, a simple religion. Roman religions were God-based. You had to know something. You had to pray. You had to buy an idol.
Right.
It cost money.
Yeah. You got to be committed.
It was committed and expensive.
Yeah.
Now you have a religion that doesn't require
money, finances.
Right. And then says that the answer is afterwards, not here. So the punishing suffering that you get here will open a door to greatness to you afterwards. And thinking about it that way, who wouldn't want to be recruited to that? Recruited to that. It's a great idea.
These are facts.
I suffer here, and if I suffer right here, I'm gonna have paradise.
Yeah, paradise afterwards. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And be forgiven for my suffering here.
Facts. Yeah. Yep.
Right. So it built on itself. Then the tragedy was that as it developed itself, it became more of a business. The Holy Roman Empire turned it into the state religion, which meant that the state controlled it. And then it became priests were the entranceway to God. And it wasn't God anymore. It was
you have
priest to the Pope, and the Pope had the phone number to
Jesus.
The Lord,
and then you gotta go through Jesus to get to God.
Right. And
you gotta go through like 3 middlemen.
They built edifices of giganticness to make you feel that the Holy Spirit was within those buildings and no longer where he said the Spirit was, which was in you. Right? The simple, that's what caught on, that God was within you and the spark was you. That was the magic. When the business came in, the magic was the closer I was to the front row, the more special I appeared to everybody else. And then it became a business because the business of giving the most got to the front row, and then the guy to the front row got the most business.
Right, he got the most business, and he started getting his palm scratched even more and more.
And then it became
business. Yeah, capitalism.
Yeah. Right. And it struck its chord. And the largest landowner privately in the world is the church. Because they own the land that they have the buildings.
These are facts. Such a nice picture, a photo right here. Just getting back to it. I also seen a pamphlet in the portfolio of somebody saying how the church doesn't pay taxes, and this is because, and this is why.
A long time ago,
yeah,
deals were set up in different countries where the church being integrated with kings, and in our country here, the church being integrated with the founding fathers, we kept it separate so that they were able to avoid paying taxes as citizens, and they are in a special category, a religious category. And that's for all religions, so I guess is it fair or not fair? It applies to everybody, so there's continuity in it. There's the Moonies, and they're tax exempt, and you have Jewish faith, Islamic faith, Christian faith, all having worship centers, and they're all pretty much exempt from having to participate in taxes as a revenue stream. They still have to pay their bills, but they're not paying a cut to the Fed.
Right. Oh, okay. So speaking on Fed real quick, because I know I can get a lot of enlightenment from you on this. how do you feel about Fed now? They're saying right now. I don't know if you watch NBC, but they've been saying June 1st. The U.S. dollar is projected to go
Raise the debt
down
ceiling.
like dramatically. I mean, Apple's the only thing that's saving us. But if
we don't raise the debt ceiling, and the debt ceiling is how much money we are able to borrow legally from ourselves. It's a weird little thing that we have to raise the number, but this prevented us from being able to go into the cookie jar and just unlimited take it. So we have to stop, pause, and ask permission. But the scary fact is that when we get to this point each and every time, as both parties try to negotiate more powerful deals for themselves, the big thing happens is that the credit raters, the same ones that actually rate bonds that you and I buy, rate the governments. And the last time we had an almost credit default in the United States, they reduced our credit rating. So anybody who has a credit card and knows when your credit rating goes down, your interest rates go up.
Yep.
We're at a
Good
point now
good point.
where if we don't actually resolve our understanding of borrowing against ourselves,
of credit, right?
they're going to raise the credit that we borrow, cost us more money,
right?
Even though we borrow it from ourselves.
And look, and I was gonna say, so initially, what was really happening is you're paying their debt.
Correct.
It sounds like their debt.
It's a play forward. You got to understand that our government or civil servants in the United States make up 53% of the workforce. That means that only 47% of the workforce actually is an independent worker that can make more money on the potentiality of capitalism. The other ones work for either city, state, or federal, and those wages are locked in. So you know how much they make. And since they're paid for in city, state, or federal, they're paid by taxes. So if they get a raise, we either raise the taxes on the 47%.
Right. So we can get that. Yeah, we can get that percentage.
Or we borrow against it and raise the debt ceiling. As you see, we do both.
Yeah, they do.
We
take
do both.
Definitely, they definitely do both. And it's America. It's capitalism.
It's capitalism. And we look the other way. 50 years ago, foreign countries did not buy our treasury bonds. American citizens did. We bought savings bonds. American bonds were bought by American citizens. Now we have become an institution of foreign enterprise. Foreign nations take their wealth and buy bonds to protect their wealth because our
for the long run,
money.
More value. Yeah,
right.
In the long run.
But at the same time, we expose ourselves to their threats because they are our investors. When it was us ourselves, we had the right to play the game with us. Now you have somebody who's invited.
Talk that shit, dog.
Really there.
You talking it, man. You talking it.
We have a little bit of a problem. And our problem is that foreign intervention means foreign meddling. Foreign meddling means that those jobs that stay out of the country, stay out of the country. They don't come back, man. Okay. It's just.
But he made a comment that was very true about politics. And I said, "Yo, say that again," because the thing is it needs to be said. If it's not said, it's not heard, it's not understood.
Right.
So it needs to be said. And what you're saying right now is hitting on so many arrows that so many Americans feel the same way. Not even just in the South, but in the North, in California, in Missouri. These people feel the same way you feel. So continue. Go ahead.
We're in an interesting part right now. We've done some things to make this country great. And at the same time, by being great, we've allowed ourselves to look at ourselves and expect more. And that's a problem because we seem to have more than everybody else. So it's how do you get more when you have more than everybody? If you look to the guy to your left and right in this country, you could see an up and down. If we leave this country, we see even the lowest of low in this country has more than the average in their country.
Yeah, in their country, yeah.
We sit around and I look on the street and it breaks my heart that there are homeless people begging for food and for shelter on our streets, but they all have the modern technology of cell phones. It's an amazing thing. A sophisticated computer in the hands of a homeless person.
Right.
If I went to Uganda and I saw that, I don't think I would see that homeless person with a phone.
With the phone. No, of course not. Of course not.
And they both have nothing. But our version of nothing is still
Something.
way more something.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was ecstatic as you guys can see, but we were talking about a lot of good things, but excuse the word vomit. And also, if you can bypass some of the ways that I ask the questions, because I'm getting better at the interviewing, but if you can bypass some of the ways that I'm asking the questions and actually just listen to the knowledge that he gives, you will see like he's dropping some jewels. Let's get back into it.
Something. It's a lot. It's still a lot. It's a lot.
We need to look at it and we need to count our blessings and realize that rather than tear ourselves
down
for how close we're not to where we want to be, we need to realize how great we are and where we are.
Be counterproductive.
Right? The people around us who are comparing themselves to us don't have half of what we have. We have the ability right now to sit and discuss the forums of God and politics. Many countries, if that gets out and they talk about it,
you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
Right. The freedom of that freedom between two people to be able to discuss it and then play it over on other people and ask them
what they feel. Yep. That's freedom.
Having rules that make sure that the system doesn't crack, that's preserving the system.
And Doc, let me say this. Like, this is how I actually met this brother. Through just so much social intellect and just so much social knowledge that he gives off, the social aroma and the intellectual aroma that he gives off. I mean, I started smelling it, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, this brother's smart. Let me, if I can learn something from him, let me learn it. Black, white, Spanish, yellow, purple, whatever. Let me learn from this brother. He's the elder. Let me learn from him. And still looks fit, young as hell. Look at those muscles right there. But I wanted to say this, right? To your point, you have homeless people, right? You have your phone costs you $100, but you have kids that are in Africa in the cobalt mines, digging for this product to make these phones, these $700 phones. The iPhone 6 may be like $700 or $1,000, but you can get over here in America for, let's say, a little deal, a plan, right? You can get you a little plan, put $62 down and get you a little plan and get $1,000 phone, right? You can't do that in Africa, and that's why I kind of resonate with what you're saying. Also, to your point, what I wanted to say is do you think that the American people are, in a sense, a little spoiled?
We have it all, and we forgot that we're supposed to be our brother's keepers. To make the value of something so high that no one can have it, when we know that we are the ones who make the value high, defeats the purpose. Because all it does is it makes us have animosities towards one another. It doesn't bring us together, it makes us separate. Seeing a billboard on a house for $1 million is distressing, because $1 million homes know where millionaires should live. You don't have to have a billboard for it. The idea that every house is $1 million puts a lot of pressure on the system itself, because the system wasn't designed to make millionaires. It was just designed to keep people working. And be busy. Happiness was the idea that you had a job and you came home and you were able to resonate from that job some respect and credibility in your community. The problem in our places that we stratified it, we did. Country likes to break people up because we like to win races. It's the way it is, right? We don't win, we don't feel we got anywhere, right? First or nothing. The problem is that attitude doesn't help brothers and sisters, it just helps win races. So you get to the point where once you've realized that we are in a race, that we already have won because we're all on the field together.
So, with that being said, to your conversation that we had, and our conversation, so to speak, that we had yesterday, right? When I was telling the skyscraper builders, the people that build the skyscrapers, and the people that make the blueprints, and also the people that sell the building, right? The person that actually builds the building doesn't get paid nearly as much as the person that actually made the blueprint, who's just doing the drawing. And the person that's doing the drawing doesn't get paid at least half as much as the person that's even selling the building.
Right.
You know? So what do you feel about that?
Well, it's a weird thing how it breaks down. But The farmer sells the product, but the guy who sells the potato chips makes the millions, because the potato itself is the crop, but the ingenuity to cut it, fry it, bag it, distribute it, that made the
That's
millions.
genius.
Right.
Right.
The dream is, in this country, is to be able to come up with that idea and be able to express it.
Right. To be able to exploit it. Let's not say express it. Exploit.
Well, here's the thing. If you could see a potato,
Capitalism at
if
its
you could
best.
see a potato and one person can see it as a meal and another guy can see it as 7 bags of money.
Right.
It's in the beauty is in the eye of the
The beholder. Oh my.
Opens you up. So the guy who built the building might have the beauty of the building, but he has no idea how to rent the rent,
How
to
far this
get
can
it.
go. Yeah.
Right. He
Yeah.
built the outside, but he doesn't know that you could put doctors
People's
on the
in
third
India.
floor
Oh my God.
and change the dynamic of the load, and that's what makes the guy who sells the building the richest, because he had to do it. Now, everybody deserves their handshake within the building, because without the architect, you couldn't get there. So the architect does get his cut, but he doesn't get fed as big as the guy selling.
That's a fact. And this is why we have people complaining about their salary and how much money
And
they
that's
make.
the trickle down of economics.
That's gonna bust down.
Mr. Bezos had to figure out how to make Amazon work. We who deliver the packages do the work for Mr. Bezos, but Mr. Bezos ultimately was the one who had.
I'm sorry, I got the phone shaking, y'all. I'm
No,
sorry.
no.
I'm laughing. Doc got me laughing.
Oh,
So even with because that was a good point. Very good point. So even with the people like, let's say, so to speak, making the blueprints, making the building, and complaining about how much they're getting paid because they're let's say the blueprint maker is not making much as the salesman. The architect that's actually building on or the construction worker is not making as much as the blueprint salesman, right? Change topics a little bit. Let's go to the teachers, because this was a conversation that I had, and the context kind of rolls into the teachers. But it's a conversation I had with a woman that having a teacher, right? So she says that the teachers don't get paid enough, but the teachers are the ones that make the doctors. So this is really a big.
this is a thing in this country
It's
that
been a
has
big.
failed.
Yeah. This has been a thing.
Failed.
Yes.
Teachers, educators, leaders of the future, molders of the minds, not babysitters, not police, not disciplinarians, molders of the minds. This is what teachers are. Paid, you pay a babysitter more. That's an embarrassment. Our country really has to look at that and say, if you make the doctors and the lawyers, shouldn't you be paid with pride and respect? Right. Some states do pay their teachers well. Most don't. Right. Most don't. Most don't realize that teaching years ago was a profession of people who desired to help people learn. It was like being a doctor, being a nurse. You had a calling for helping and for nurturing and for being able to be patient and teach. Now you get in it because you don't know what else to do.
Yeah, you need money.
Right, and then they don't pay you well. Teachers should be established where we don't use scantrons anymore. That children are actually taught by teachers, and then teachers actually have the opportunity to decide when a child matriculates forward or not. No grades. When you're ready to move, you move. You know why? As an American, the object is success. See, since we're all racing and we already won, the idea is to get to the finish line. So we don't want anyone falling. By having you move slower, still get you to the finish line, because remember, this isn't really a foot race. It's the race of life.
Hey, what's going on, family and visitors? Peace and blessings to you all. Welcome to the Telescope channel. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell in the bottom corner. Here at the Telescope channel, we're going to be diving in from everything from music to religion, sports, and all other current events. Subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated. Let's go get it in.